Welcome to Smash Writing.
I am your host, Justin. This is my talking parakeet, Polly, who I've taught to talk, unfortunately. Now you won't shut up. We're all losers in this situation.
Once again, we are back to our roots, and that's reviewing films. And today's film for this week's episode is...
We've been reviewing movies for so long now, I'm going to jump out of that.
And it's still always roots because we have always so many ideas. But what's today's movie?
One of my favorite movies.
One of Justin's favorite movies.
That I've done a blowing on already, but I'm keeping going. We're talking about Odd Thomas today.
And when did this film come out?
2009, I think?
Really?
No. It had to be closer to 2012.
Oh my god.
It's 2013.
Holy crap, I didn't realize it was that old.
Yeah, it is old.
Wow.
We're old.
We're in our early 30s. Calm down.
God, I'm old. My bones crack. Got like 3 friends.
Two of them invisible.
This is a movie that I really love. Mostly, I was so excited when it released. I remember seeing it on release, like waiting for this movie because I was such a big fan of the books.
How many books are there? Because
I think it was like 6 or 7.
6 or 7. All right.
It throws me off a bit because I've never finished reading the last one. Because, all right.
Okay, here we go.
I love this series. Don't call me out. But they hinted.
Bullshit.
They hinted so much. Like, these are all memoirs from Odd's perspective. Every book follows just Odd. It never changes. And he says that he will never release his memoirs until he dies. And I'm not ready to say goodbye to Odd. So I've never finished the book series. Because I don't want to read him dying.
All good things must come to
No,
an
I don't. As long as I don't have to read the book. It's in the car. I don't.
The car that you don't even have.
I pulled it out. It's in a box.
Okay, you saved it.
It was in the car.
You saved it. You came to me, obviously the way we record, we do bulk recording, and then we do our little solo stuff. You came to me a couple weeks ago. I heard of this film. I did not know that it was, a book series, anything like that.
The loser, I don't know what he does with his life. Stands in a corner, I think.
No. You just sit in this chair. When we do films and we pick films, it's always so because you're like, crap, do I have access to this film? And I said, I heard of it before, so luckily I went to Prime. It's on Amazon Prime right now. So.
Did you pay for it or was it free?
Oh, it's free because I haven't.
It was on Tubi.
Okay.
I love this movie. Seriously.
So I got to watch it and on the way.
This is like your first time, so walk us through your opinion and everything.
So starting the film off, and I have to say, like a while back, I reviewed. In my eyes, I thought this was more of a horror comedy type of movie because of the lightheartedness. It might not have been.
I don't think it was like comedy. I think it's just because we're not used to characters actually being earnest and friendly. Like we're nice, like I'm tough guy. I beat everything, and that is not who Odd is at all.
And it still had the lighthearted touch to the horror genre.
Yeah.
I was never really a big fan of the lighthearted horror. Like it had to be a dark tone to it until I watched The Babysitter 1 and 2. I did blogs on them, both for Sequel Saturday and all of that. I really did enjoy it, and that actually opened my eyes. So when he recommended this film, of course I know Justin's style, so I'm like, oh man, here we go.
Were you shocked that this is one of my favorite movies?
No. I actually, it did not shock me that this would be one of your favorite movies because it literally had your style written all over it.
The lightheartedness, kind of jokey, but at the same time just dark.
A darker touch to it. So when I went into the film, the first few minutes, like I said, the lighthearted comedy horror type thing, I was kind of like, oh, here we go, this is going to waste my time. But as the movie went on, and I got into the story, got into, Odd with the character, I actually started to change my view of how I looked at this film. Because with my past experience with The Babysitter and going into this film, so I kind of started to enjoy it as the movie went on, and to the point where if you were like to ask me how did I in a odd world where you're like, how do you like the first part, second part, whatever. First part was like, because I didn't get into it.
Well, like the first part, the opening part, and it carries on throughout the movie's narration.
Right.
Like you're talking, Odd is talking through narration most of the time, and he's explaining the things that's happening. And I really like that because I thought it was something different in narration. And like I said, this is based around his memoirs, so it kind of makes sense to be hearing directly from Odd a lot of the times. And at least he's not looking at the camera like some movies.
The fourth wall.
Yeah, it's not even. It's one thing to break fourth wall. It's another thing to talk directly to you and ask you questions.
How do you like this? No, shut up.
What am I supposed to do now? Stop talking to me. That's what you.
But
I think that it did help too because it's like you met the Bodocs, the creatures that are following and seeking out the person who's going to be committing this carnage and soaking it up, and the narration did help a little bit explain who these are quickly.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about this in the car, so spoiler alert.
I'm saying spoiler alert. We were talking like we're talking now.
Yeah. You asked me about the Stormy ending.
Yeah.
That I kind of seen coming. What we didn't talk about was that it did slightly catch me off guard with the weird...
The Fungus Man.
Yeah, Fungus
that
Man.
was a good reveal of him.
That was the reveal, and then it seemed like you brought up the Stormy reveal, like, no, you seen that, but when they revealed that Fungus Bob was actually dead...
In his words, a pissed off poltergeist?
Yeah, was already dead when, he went up to the church. That caught me off guard, because you didn't really know when he died, because he never actually spoke.
Yeah.
Period. So that element was a bit surprised. I did enjoy that. The Stormy situation, you kind of knew just by general knowledge that the love interest of the main character that fights these things weren't going to live. They tried their best to keep it like, oh, you didn't know she died.
So that's the spoiler.
Yeah.
Not spoiler, we were talking in the car, because who cares? I doubt anyone's thinking we're just driving along jamming the ball.
Well, I was warning it before we got into it. So.
Now it's a spoiler.
Yeah. But I didn't, you seen that part coming, but the one thing I did enjoy of the movie was the emotional aspect.
They did a really good job building up Odd and Stormy throughout this movie.
Yeah.
Like, they each needed each other.
And when you always have somebody that accepts your weirdness, it's always an awesome thing. But the emotion, I thought they did a good job at the end when it was revealed to Odd himself.
Yeah.
That
he had to face the reality of the situation.
Yeah, that part was that part actually shocked me because it actually was better than what I was expecting. And that's, that was like a really, I don't want to call it a saving grace of the film, but it was a good scene that with them making the Stormy reveal a thin one, you needed that emotion to really sell it, and I think that's what they got me on.
I liked, you didn't read the book, so this is going to scare you. I haven't read the book one in about 15 years.
Okay.
I could tell you, they ripped out the entire beginning portion of him running into the guy in the car who killed Penny.
Yeah.
And him chasing after him.
That was a good scene.
That entire sequence is ripped from the book. Even down to the chair William Dafoe sits in when he's telling him about the poker game, or about the Dodger bet. That's all straight from the book. The bowling alley, where they believed it was from the bowling alley. So much of this movie just ripped straight from the book and thrown at the screen. And
often not, when films have a source material, they go away from it. They'll take elements.
There were elements they took out of this that they didn't make it from the book to the movie. His mom is a lot more ruthless in the book than she is in the movie. They were going to do that, but from what I've read, they thought it was too dark and was changing the atmosphere of the movie. They made Ozzy's character smaller, which does not bother me at all. And how am I going to actually argue about Patton Oswalt? I'm not ever going to argue over Patton Oswalt.
Get into that, because that was I said, obviously, you're right. I didn't know anything about this being a book. I just thought it was a movie, and I was just basing it off of the lyrics of the movie.
Well, it's like Ozzy may have had a bigger role in the book, and Roselia, the landlady, was an actual character. Elvis has been diminished to a cardboard cutout. But honestly, that doesn't really bother me. I mean, even as in the book series go, when Elvis leaves and Frank Sinatra shows up in the books, Frank Sinatra is so much more of an interesting ghost following Odd. So I really wasn't too heartbroken that Elvis did not make the script. But when you're looking at over 90% of the book material is in the movie, and only like 10% maybe is cut out, as opposed to some book movies where it's like they took 10% of the book and they threw away the other 90. I appreciate this so much more.
Now let's get into the performances. How do you think the actors?
I loved it. Anton Yelchin, God rest his soul, was perfect as Odd. Because he brought that humility, that humbleness, that friendly guy who's just trying to do his best.
Yeah.
He's been through a lot, he's seen a lot, but he's still trying to just smile and make it do with what he has. Addison Timlin as Stormy was great. I really liked the chemistry between her and Anton. And William Dafoe was really good as Chief Porter.
Yeah, William Dafoe is a good actor that, probably gets lost in the shuffle of great actors, but...
You can really feel his character is trying to walk that line.
Yeah.
He knows that he cannot use Odd, really. Because that's... Nothing Odd finds is ever really...
Legally you can't use it, yeah.
But he works with him to the extent that he
Give
can.
him, excuse of how it's played out and everything like that.
But he's not... He will go toward Odd when he can. But at the same time, he knows when to put the foot down and go, "You're killing me here, dude. You have to give me something.
You got to give me something more than what you're giving me."
But you feel like he's walking that line in a good way.
Yeah.
He's not like...
I never got the urge that he was going to turn on all.
Yeah, like you would see in a lot of those movies where they're like, "No, I'm done listening to you."
Yeah, like midway through the film, the partnership goes south, and you're like, "Oh, now the character doesn't have anybody to back him up." But
I mean, even right down to where he actually wore the metal heart.
Yeah, that.
He didn't look at that and go, "This is dumb." He looked at it with, "He wouldn't have given me this unless it was important."
Right, and so that was a good partnership. William Dafoe is, like I said, there's a lot of great actors that gets kind of lost in the shuffle. He's one of them. I mean, you've probably seen him in a lot of films and didn't realize it was him. I really didn't know his career up until, Spider-Man, basically.
He's in Boondock Saints.
That is true, too, see? But, obviously I didn't know about the Ozzy character, so I can't really...
I thought he was fine. Not every character can make it from the book. But the fact that they were there and they tried. And Ozzy was an important character here because he made the heart.
So, yeah.
And when you got a sequel, we could have seen more.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
Most likely will.
Well, even if Anton survived, I don't know if they would have made a sequel. Because of all the legal trouble this movie got into.
When did he pass compared to this movie coming out?
Oh, it was after this movie. It was
was it a year or two?
I don't know. I gotta look it up. One second here. Keep talking, Paul.
Justin never comes prepared.
Yeah, because I was ready for you to ask me when did Anton Yelchin die.
Journalism 101, damn it.
Why didn't you look it up? He died in 2016.
Okay, so
3 years.
So it sucks because at that point, even up to his death, there wasn't a sequel happening. So most likely,
the lawsuit trouble this movie got into. Pay your advertisers. It's a wrong movie.
So, is there anything? I mean, I know this is one of your favorite movies, but is there anything you didn't like?
No, I love this movie. I loved it. It hit every note.
Every little.
All right.
Give me one con. There has to be one con.
One small con.
Okay.
They did not need to CGI him cooking. He would be cutting when the Botox came in. He was cutting a cucumber, and they CGI'd the pieces flipping.
Wow, didn't even realize
Like
that.
I get why they did it because Odd is a really talented chef. You probably didn't need the CGI him cutting cucumbers. I love the CGI on the Bodox though. Well, because in the books they're described as almost formless. Sometimes they'll walk on all fours, sometimes they're on two legs. They're like blobs.
I mean, I guess my knock really would be if the CGI was just a hint better, like a little bit more detailed with them.
They're not supposed to be.
Okay, well,
Like I said, sometimes they will take on whatever form, and sometimes they don't really look like anything beside moving inky blobs.
so I was okay with the performance. I was okay with the story. You know, it shared details. It gave a little bit of details. It didn't give too much. Character development. I watched Odd develop. The development was good, but could have been better.
Well, I think Odd is more of a static character than anything. He's not supposed to change. People around him change.
But I mean, other than that, I actually said I did enjoy the film. It made a difference that I have, in this lighthearted, whether you want to call it comedy horror or just lighthearted horror, whatever you prefer. It did give me experience of what to expect and to appreciate the film for, its own genre.
It's horror. It's not.
So.
I mean, I guess you can say fantasy.
Yeah, I guess you can aim.
A bit of sci-fi, maybe. Because they'd be a sidekick.
Yeah. So overall, what?
A plus.
A plus.
A plus.
What percentage?
None. I'm not giving percentages. Remember last week? You can imagine an A plus. It's between 95 and 100. Well, 85 to 99, I guess. And would S be 100 or would S be above 100?
We're going to stay with old school, like the normal school of.
No, S is top tier.
Okay.
Oh, S is always top tier. Have you not played Crazy Taxi?
No.
Class S license.
My overall grading is, I will go a low A minus, keeping it high up there. I did think it was a good film that told a story, and you understood the story. You didn't get lost in it too much. If they lacked something, they made it up in another department. Like I said, the Stormy reveal was kind of weak. You kind of knew it, but they made up with the emotion selling it.
They did. They did make up with the emotion of selling it. And the book is a little better because they went on for like 20 pages.
Fungus Bob.
It was a lot of fun.
Was a lot of fun, and that reveal was pretty good. You probably knew that.
How were you able to piece together who the killers were going to be? The two cops and the bald guy, I believe.
That I did not actually think. The only part that I maybe got a whiff that the cops were, 2 of the 4, if you count Fungus Bob, was when they did the tattoo, the Princess of Darkness, the Prince of Darkness tattoo. So you kind of got a hint that that cop was going to be involved, but not the other partner, and then, what came after all that. So those reveals made up for, any other lacking that they didn't do strong enough or anything like that. So one weakness was good balance with the strength. So that's why I'll give it a low A minus, keep it
above The Conjuring. That's all that matters.
Yes.
You realize that we did 3 weeks now of Paranormal Investigators.
We also moonlight at night. If you can call us and we will come investigate haunted houses.
I mean, why not? Like,
I mean, we're weird.
I'll stand in like the attic and go, woo!
I'll come in like, oh, those were just the pipes. But until next time.
Bye-bye.